Hello and welcome to another composing project. We have a brief to write some kooky animation, which sort of leads on in this comedic theme that I've done the last couple of times. Remember, there's loads more episodes like this you can go and check out with all sorts of styles, but kooky animation is what it says here pretty much. Zany, over-the-top world, fast-paced, exaggeration, cartoonish moments, focus on plucky pizzicato strings, sprightly woodwinds, unpredictable phrasing that keeps the audience guessing, that sort of thing. Now, in the comments from last time, me and Jim were chatting and he mentioned Carl Stalling and the Carl Stalling project that you can get as an album all the time that he wrote at Warner Brothers. So I've been listening to that in preparation for doing this brief. Hopefully we can get something interesting going that sort of falls along those lines. I'm going to start with my template with a piano and see if I can come up with some sort of melody. Right, so I've got a bit of a melody going on here. Let's have a look. There you go. That's the idea for the melody. Now we need to turn it into something that sounds a bit more cartoony. Right, so a bit of xylophone from BBC SO and pizzicato, I think this was violin 1, again BBC SO. They come together to make it sound a lot more cartoony. Nice. Okay, we're going to need some accompaniment stuff with this and certainly something to cover a bass line as well. Okay, so we've got a bit more action going on now. I've added a snare drum to accompany the sort of melody. And then we've got tenor trombones here and then cimbasso there, which are making this sound. Just picking out bass notes for us. I did have a go with this sort of thing, but it was too busy, so actually I'm going to get rid of that so I don't accidentally refer back to it. So now it sounds more like this. I'm going to have a think to see if anything else needs to go on top of this for the time being. Remember, what we're trying to do is sort of throw ideas at the composing page at the moment. I'm not really worried about the great structure overall of this, although I think the intro and ending may be tricky to get this right. Anyway, see you in a minute. What have I done? Not a lot really. I was just listening back to it and thought we could do with some mids, so I've put a clarinet in, and you'll notice because this was starting to get quite busy, I have actually started naming things early for a change. So we've just got this clarinet line in now as well. Now, what I think we're going to need is some sort of introduction, because going straight into that doesn't sound right in terms of animation-y things. When you listen to the Carl Stalling stuff, there's loads of different ways he introduces tracks. I'm probably just going to pick one of those and come up with something similar, I suppose. Right, let's try that. Okay, I've gone with a rolling snare intro, followed by a little fanfare. So that's on the xylophone, and I've also put in some bass notes as well. So it sounds like this. What I was about to do is glue these together on the same track. So that should be fine. Great. No need having extra tracks around when you don't need them. That note's a little bit quiet. Let's pick that up as well. So it stands on its own as an introduction. However, that doesn't sound quite fanfare-y enough, so I'm going to have to add some extra instruments, I think. Let's pop some more stuff in. Haha! Extra instruments. We've got staccato trumpets, we've got the bass trombone multi-tongue, and 2 trills from clarinets and flutes doing major third trills. They are the bits I've just added, which sound like this. And you'll notice I've started trying to balance things out with the levels. So together they sound like this. Now, I know that second section is relatively quieter at the moment, but you would expect that because there's more instruments in the first section, which sort of makes sense. What I might do now to finish off this session, I might add an outro. See if we can work out how this would potentially end. Okay, back in a sec. Okay, so we've now got this composed ending. I still need to add in some bass. I might put in some of these trills, but we'll see how it goes. I'll have a play around and get a feel for what sounds good. See you in a sec. Right, so there we go. This is our now composed ending. Might even use that for middle section intros as well. We'll see how it goes in session 2. That's all I'm going to do for throwing instruments at the idea for the time being. There was a happy accident when I was playing around with the xylophone, and I literally just played in this. They were actually on the beat, but I moved this first lot across by half a beat and therefore doubled with the other xylophone. I think that works really well, really like that. I'll play it for you again as an outro as always. Don't forget, like and subscribe, always appreciated. And yeah, this is really good fun. I'll see you in part 2. Bye for now.